Well, let's welcome you to the Abuja Center this morning. My name is Nwabueze Njoko, of course, as always. Now, you remember that about 2 weeks ago, our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while somebody, the vice chancellor of Federal University in Disima, represented him at the graduation ceremony of that university, the president charged Nigerian universities to begin what he called problem-solving researches as a means of being stakeholders in Nigeria's development. I think that was a very big charge. But there are a number of questions that arise, which is what we're addressing this morning, because it's a presidential order and we expect that universities will respond. Now, before you meet our guest this morning, let us take this short story.
Maybe the starting question should be, how can the trust and confidence in indigenous know-how by governments and ordinary Nigerians be increased? This question should be followed by another question. Who should drive that confidence in indigenous know-how? The political leadership, the civil servant, or the private citizen? These questions arise following the task by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Nigerian universities to lead the charge on research as an irreducible condition for national development. The president, who spoke at the graduation ceremony of the Federal University Dus Inma in Katsina State, said that the universities should focus on demand-driven research to provide solutions to societal and industrial problems and become the catalyst for national development. How necessary are the president's demands on Nigerian universities? Apart from the need to undertake this research as demonstrated by the experience of many industrialized and well-governed societies, how conducive are Nigerian universities to undertake the task of such beneficial input? The foregoing notwithstanding, Nigeria's many research institutions have dust-covered research outcomes which have been left on the shelves while equivalent outcomes from outside of Nigeria are patronized. Similarly, many Nigerian scientists, engineers, medical research experts, and sundry professionals are ignored by government and industries seeking solutions to problems in which these Nigerians are experts and are respected worldwide. Just recently, President Tinubu commended Nigerian scientists who were honored in the United States. So why is the Nigerian prophet not regarded in his own country? There is a saying that those who pay peanuts get monkeys. In other words, from whom much is expected, much must be given. The value which Nigeria places on knowledge is reflected in the country's remuneration structure. Nigeria places reward premium on politics and politicians and places its academics, researchers, and other critical professionals as remuneration appendages. Such grading in the nation's reward structure ensures the outcome the nation is getting from its eggheads. If President Tinubu's charge is to yield the expected outcomes and the nation to benefit from such outcomes, the nation may have to address its trust in the indigenous scientists, engineers, and other specialists, make the universities conducive for research and intellectual enterprise, and match the remuneration to these experts with their expected contribution to national development.
You're welcome back. Now, to discuss this issue with me this morning is Comrade Emmanuel Osodeke. He is the national president of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian, of course, universities. Well, Comrade, let me welcome you to the conversation.
Thank you very much for having me.
The president has given you and your colleagues a charge that you should begin research, problem-solving research. as your contribution to national development. Are the president's expectations right from our universities and our scientists and researchers? Is that expectation right?
Thank you very much. It's right, and it's already there. Because when you go to Nigeria, when you look at the function of a lecturer, there are three: teaching, research, and community service. And for the lecturers, the most important one is research. One, that projects you in the world. Two, that is the major criteria for getting promoted. And three, that is what you will leave behind by the time you retire or you go. Those are the three things. And for us today, for you to be a professor in Nigerian University, you must have published no less than 30 to 40 articles based on your research. And they are there. All you need to do is go to the Google Scholar and look at, just type in Manuel Osodeka, you see what I have published that could solve the problem of this country. And the same thing with all the sectors. But you know the problem? Nigerian government are not interested.
No, comrade, that's a very serious statement.
Yes.
That the Nigerian government, the Nigerian establishment, is not
interested in local solution to our problem. You see all of them jumping abroad, go to look for foreign aid. Let me give you a typical example. Nigeria pay hundreds of dollars, millions of dollars to get IPPIS. They're creating problems to everybody have said it's a failure. We have to buy from Europe, from the World Bank, which have created the problem. But in 2022, when we were on strike, and we said we rejected it, they were fighting us. They fought to even seize our salary. If you get there, if you say this thing is not working, develop your own and give to us. We said fine. It took us 3 months to develop UTAS. And UTAS today was tested with IPPIS. UTAS came a distant first than IPPIS. But it took us 3 months. But today, instead of using it, they still threw it away and still using IPPIS. That every month for my salary, every year, federal government is paying $400 to prepare my salary until we left. To prepare every worker's salary until they all left. Multiply that by the millions of Nigerian lecturers, how much we are paying month. But we put it locally. We didn't ask one come up from anybody and say, it's gift for you to this country. Which you can be very special because you can't have the same salary system for all the sectors. Military, police, civil servant, your polytechnic. You can't. And if we were ready, we would be willing to produce that for every sector because it's sector-based to capture their peculiarities. But it was thrown away. We are still using the IPPI for which we are paying. So Nigerian government, they are not interested in local solution. They return, go abroad and bring somebody who has no idea. As you go out, maybe you look at it, you see a building just complete that a project. You saw across. It was built up. We didn't award the contract. We used our members. It didn't take the 7 months to finish that building with 24 hours light and everything. You can look at it when you are going. But university cannot use its intellect to build a structure. You must go to BP, Bureau of Public you must go to this, you must go to this. Every university have all the expertise. You have the architect, you have the quality surveyor, you have the structural engineer, you have everybody. But you want to build a toilet, you must go and get contractor. So that is the problem. No university in the world will do that. This is what you have. We taught these people who are doing those. So what am I saying? Any day we now have the government agreeing that let's solve our problem locally, Nigerian system will work. And we already have them. That is one. Two, look at this year budget. How much did federal government put in the university? Let's say the big one, ABU, Unilag, Ibadan, IFE, UNN. How much did they give them as research grant for research? Not got up to 500,000 million. And what about research in the whole university are going to do with 500 million? So you are not funding research, you are challenging them to a produce position. In order to climb, when there is crisis, you go to your go to the university and challenge them. Take this amount of money, we want to do this in the next 6 months. And they will do it for you. If you do it, but they're not interested. If you take this money to go to abroad, and those who are so happy with them because they are so informed, when they come, they collect, they don't want to stand to work. I will give you also another example. We had any PC filling station, refineries, about 3 or 4. For more than how many years? More than 10 years, 15 years, none worked. Until Dangote built his refinery and started selling. and they solve problem. They are working now. Is it not? Are they not working now? But what they're going to do, if they have not built a refinery and selling locally, those refineries will not work. I passed through Ajakuta yesterday, and I almost wept. I saw the Ajakuta Steel Company, huge company. The money put there is in trillions of dollars, but has not produced one rod. Why? Because the foreign people who are the controller of Nigeria will not want it. Any day that steel start working, Nigeria will not import, we will be exporting steel. But if they work, their business will go down. You saw, if you are read the news recently by IMF, that because of Nigerian refinery working, their business is going down. So that is why they don't want it to work. And our leaders believe in them. So, any day the government want to solve our problem locally, the problem will be resolved. In farming, we had one of the biggest fertilizer plants in One. More than I was in the university when that thing was built. Till today, it has not produced any fertilizer. And we spent trillions on it. We have in Kaduna, it's not working. Not that they cannot work, but because those foreign people who are controlling this country, we don't allow them look inward.
Let us leave the foreigners. Because
the
president himself seems to be conscious that manpower ought to be, competence ought to be, scientists ought to be in our universities.
Yes.
There was a word he used.
Yes.
He said, problem-solving research.
Yes.
Our academics, our scientists in the universities, our researchers in the universities are accused of conducting researches that lead to nowhere. Just academic romanticism, scientific romanticism, just to be able to accumulate the number of papers to qualify for the next promotion. That they don't target problems, and intellectuals are supposed to be solving problems. That accusation, doesn't it stand?
It does not stand. That's why I say you don't look inward. When you go to those countries you are talking about that he refers to, they have what refers to as triple helix. Relationship between the university, the government, the university, and the industry. Government fund the research, the university conduct the research, and the industry apply the research. I am a soil scientist. I have developed something very critical with my students. That our soils are here are very acidic. Therefore, for you to have a good crop, you must bring in lime and fertilizer. The cost of lime there, you cannot buy it. We have developed that what we can use to the ash from the kitchen of women. If you store them, you can use. We have done all this, and all sorts of them, but nobody is willing to apply this research. Look, you can go to the library, you can go to this of the university, they are there. Who will use them? No, there's no relationship between the government, the industry, and the this thing. That's what we're saying. Any day we start looking at that. Let's go back to the university and get their product and use. No, look, for you to publish a paper in a frontline journal, you must people that can lead to solution. So it's not just about you promoted, be promoted. It must be something that can lead to solution. That is it. In the South, when government was still looking inward, when I was a student, the day when you do a road, when you construct a road in that South, within 1 year it's gone. They challenged my faculty, their faculty then. Our faculty did a clear mineral analysis and found out that there are mineral that expand when wet and contract when dry. Therefore, when you do the road, the rainy season, and it's wet, and when the dry season come and the tree dry up, it contracts. So so I now recommend that, look, for you to put a road in the South, excavate all the soil to some depth and go and bring sharp sand. And when you go to South today, all the roads, when they are doing it, those who are serious, you must excavate the soil and put in sharp sand before you do your. Now that's the origin there. It was done there by the 1983-84. That was when government was still listening to the university. But today, they don't they don't even challenge us.
That's exactly where I was going to.
They don't challenge you.
Comrade, because the president says, conduct research, problem-solving research, as a means of contributing to national development.
Yes.
Do they even come with problems to the university
that
to
is
be able
to
Prefer solutions.
That is the point we're talking about. Let's assume you're having a problem with your crop yield in a particular state. You call the Faculty of Agric there, say, look at the problem we have. How can we solve it? They come with a proposal, and then you fund it. Because research is not just you just go there and do anything. Two, if you are aware of the need assessment fund we talk about, 1.3 trillion, that was also the origin. Because let's take a soil science lab. We went to one of the first generation, I won't mention the name, one first generation university. And when the team established, they were using stove as Bunsen burner. Stove. I will have the picture, I will give you. I will send the report to you. They were using stove as Bunsen burner. How can that lab produce good result? Go to a engineering lab. The basic thing they have, they are not there. Go to a medical lab. How many universities have dialysis just as a machine? So, that's what the origin of this need assessment. Say, look, we told the government, put 1.3 trillion in Nigerian university over 6 years, and we upgrade all these facilities so that our people can do research that are modern. Now you go to a lab where you have a Bunsen burner. You are using bucket to fetch water to a lab. And you can, look, we are telling government, if you think what we are saying correct, go back again. 1.3 trillion with demand for 6 years. They only released 200 billion. They don't really want to cover again. But this same government, this same system that cannot give 1.3 trillion to universities that should be solving your problem, that you give 15 trillion to do a road, to do a secondary road when they're already a road. You take loan to sponsor all sorts of things. Road construction this, but you must let put this money, just 200 billion in all for Nigerian universities, and upgrade their facilities. All the facilities are those that have been there in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. How can they do modern research? So some of the problems some of us have today, and I will tell you this, some of the problem we have is that if you use our lab to do a research, and you send to a foreign journal, it will tell you, no, this thing cannot work. Today, what I did, me and my colleagues, my students, we have a relationship with a lab in South Africa. That is to send sample there, it will cost us 80,000 naira for my salary. Because government, how much am I earning? Because we're working on mineralogy, clay mineralogy. Like I told you before, for this road. That's what but we want to send the sample to South Africa, a lab in South Africa, to analyze. The last time we saw, we said about 4 months ago. The lab there has not got it. Be head up by this what do you call it? Company that are. So, back to Nigeria, most of our colleagues, they go to India, they send their samples because you don't have the equipment. How much those equipment? Maximum 500, 600, 50 or 60 million naira. But there's no lab in Nigeria that have this particular equipment that is functional. And you want to challenge people. Meanwhile, one trip by any government official will cost that amount of money. The salary of a senator over 2 or 3 months is more than that money. But you cannot put it in a library. So that is the crisis we have. The system is not interested in our own local solution. And I can assure you, whether you know it or not, I can assure Nigerian and the government that no foreign country will come and develop your country for you. If you do that, it's a failure. So that is where we are. We still plead that government should come and take care of researching universities, challenge academics, and then we'll have solution.
Comrade,
yes.
Now that you've touched on funding
yes.
and remuneration, let me take them one by one.
Okay.
Today, a Nigerian academic is supposed to have the environment in which to conduct this research. You've already addressed part of it, facilities, yes. Equipment. Also, they say, those who give peanuts get monkeys. A professor in Nigeria earns about 400,000 naira.
On average.
And is expected to conduct research to solve national problems.
To travel for conferences.
To do papers.
Yes.
Maybe his student who is SSA to this senator, PPA to this governor, SSG to this, is earning 3 million, 4 million, 2-point-something million. Do you think Nigeria's reward structure really values the academic?
That is actually the bone of it. Before, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the only public servant that earn more than a professor is the Chief Justice of the Federation. Professor earn more than every other person. But today, where are we? Just a senior special assistant or special assistant to a senator earn 10 times what a lecturer earns, a professor earns. Everything has changed because we don't look. You don't do this also like the environment you talk about. When you go to UNN, UI, Ibadan, every lecturer was living on campus because at your academy you don't have a working hour. You can work from 8 in the morning till 6, 7 in the night if you have a research going on. But today, they say staff quarters have been abolished. All the one you go see that they want built in the 60s, 70s because there's no fund. But in those days when they were here, their Awolowo, their Azikiwe, they value education and they were good accommodation as at that time. But today, do we still have any university with accommodation? The new one, do they have any? All they are busy doing is establishing a constituency project university, just at the university in my community, where they will not allow their children to attend those universities. What are we saying? Until you now start valuing your lecturers. Like I said when I was a student, there were lecturers from 5 different countries in my department. Today, you know Abuja, if you see 2 or 3 foreign lecturers, either they are married here or they married from here. They have a relationship, not the work. Because what you pay cannot give anything. 2, you use a TED fund to train people. A lecturer 1 went abroad to do a PhD, and while he's there, he's serving as assistant to a professor, and he earns more than $1,000 a day, a month. And when they come home, he earned $100 a month. Will he come back? He will not. Are there as a special as an assistant to a professor there? A professor in those countries have assistant. You earn more than $1,000 a month. When that lecturer comes home, he will not get up to $100. $100 is 150,000. Selling up to 150,000. Will he come home? 2, those who are not really people who are not really believe that we must rebuild this country, they are leaving. Those who don't believe in the country say, let me just go outside. He'll hear any 400,000. He goes abroad, he earns $4,000. Modify 4,000 by 150. That they are leaving and nobody is coming in. And we don't see to look at. We are trying to compare a lecturer with civil servant with this, which is not correct. For you to be a lecturer, for you to be a civil servant or a public servant, what do you have? Let's say civil servant. You have a degree, it can take you to your epic position. But as a lecturer, you can only become a lecturer with the first level. You must have a second class upper at the minimum. And with that position, until you get a master's degree, you can't be promoted. So you need to work whether they pay you salary to get a master's degree to become assistant lecturer. Then when you get to yourself, for you to be a senior lecturer, you must get a PhD. For you to be a senior lecturer, you must have some quality of paper published. For you to be a senior lecturer, you must have it. So progresses upward. For you to be a professor, you must have supervised a number of students. Publications, not just local journal, but international journal. So if you have 100 papers in Nigerian local journal, you don't have some of these high-class journal, you will not be promoted. So when you are paying them, I mean by this money you are paying them, almost half goes to their work. And when we have been struggling now since 2017, upgrade this salary in the interest of this country, until now, nothing has happened. When we go on strike, that is why we go on strike. And nothing has happened. The environment, lecturer, you see professor sharing office with a colleague. When you know that client, the professor not only has an office, he has a lab, has an assistant in a lab. And you want to have the same result. And finally, on this issue, we now have many of our colleagues who are very angry, who are unbalanced because of anger, who cannot even take care, senior one cannot take care of their head. Somebody who has BP, he has sugar, he must spend less than 100 to 200 a month on medicine, and you give him 400,000 a month. So they go to teach with anger. And there's no country that will get a good result when you are people who are your academics, your center of the brain, your best brain. That's what they call the egg cell in those days. Because the Alvin Tower are going to work with anger. Go to the university, I don't have people who are here. Professors have got to work. Take keke because they can't afford the fuel. From what do you call it? Babalada to this place, you will not spend less than 5 liters a day. 5 liters times 1,000, that's 4 or 5 liters on transport alone. So they not come to work keke. In which country will that happen? Some go to work by bike. And many of our colleagues, and I also say this, are dying. Last night we had the report, normally get a report from that. We lost 80-something of our members in 3 months. What we're also seeing now, the report I'm headed, we will have the same thing next month. They are very senior people. They already have health issue. They have been stressed themselves, and then they can't buy drug. And the government is not bothered. I just got a colleague today who was appointed to the National Assembly as special assistant, and the salary now is more than 2 to 3 million. Like you said, a professor. In the good old days, no professor will go and be a special assistant to, not even to the president. Many professors will not even accept ministerial job. But today, professors are going to a special assistant to a member of State House of Assembly. But what he will get is more than about 2 times what you get as a professor. So our brain drain is not from Nigeria to outside the country. It's not from Nigeria to other areas. Some are going to farming. They now split at times, where those in this northern part where they have enough land. You spend most of the time in his farm, but he must eat. But we must bring our university back to where it is. And now, one of the most dangerous aspects Nigeria don't even look at about our lab and our equipment is that these same people you are training without practicals in engineering and all sides, they are now children of big men, somebody who have access to a big man. You don't interview. You are now a player by slot. You become the head of engineering section in any system. You don't know what it takes to do a building. Okay, we are in the earliest when we were growing up. Did you hear of building collapsing in Nigeria?
No.
So is there any day the building does not collapse? Because these same people you didn't train well, they are now, because they have access to government agents, they are now in charge of to monitor this thing, which they don't. And what is the impact today? Buildings are collapsing. 2 days ago, more than 80 people get burnt in Niger State. If they had done good experiments and good research before those roads were done, we have bad roads. Those would have died. Because those who are supposed to monitor the road don't even know what to monitor. They don't. Because they didn't pass through the practical component. And that's why government must go back again and look at education. This year, they gave a pantry 7% to education. The least country in West Africa, the minimum they give to education is 15% of their budget. But we get 7 and people are clapping hands. So that is the crisis of a nation who does not believe in its educational system.
Let's look further into this crisis of this nation, especially within the university system.
Yeah.
One of the issues being raised by critics of the development of Nigeria's university system is that too many universities are also being established. And that the intellectual community, the experts, the eggheads, as we just said, are being spread thin. You were a lecturer for 5 years here. Before you know it, a new university has sprung up. Somebody takes you there, you become a dean. And that the number of years it ought to take to produce such high-level manpower is no longer being respected. And therefore, the quality of manpower running these many universities is low, and the output naturally is low. I'm not going to lead you into temptation, but do you think that we should put a break or in fact reduce the number of universities were established?
Thank you very much. If you look at one of the reasons for which we went on strike in 2022 and 2020 and 2022 is the proliferation of universities. That was one of the issues. And one of the agreements we reached is that NUC registered them. So we have gone to NUC and propose an act, a bill to National Assembly to upgrade the requirement to establish a university. And for you to establish a university, you must indicate their funds stock somewhere to run that university at least 5 years before you can come to government or come to TED fund. And why did you do that? Because of what you have just said. Look, presently, the present universities are not well funded, and you are establishing every day. And 2, for you to establish a university, you must also look at where are you getting the staff from? Our senior and intelligent ones are leaving. Nobody is coming from outside, and you are proliferating university. But today, more than half, close to a large number of lecturers in our university, ordinarily in our system, should not be lecturers. Because we're going to interview again. When I was employed, all of us employed, those in our category, you must go through rigorous interview. They might invite 20 people, they take 2. But today, no more interview, no more, they just pick anybody. In those days, for you to be a lecturer, you must have second class upper. Today, people with HND who are lecturers, people with what you call it, third class and plus. What do? After you do that, go to one of these centers and get MBA and whatever, and then you close over PGD and you move over. A very renowned professor, Professor Ike Naonyido, had these 4 categories of lecturer that he analyzed. Today we have 4 categories of lecturer in Nigerian universities. Category 1 are people who, from the beginning, when they were in university, they made up their mind they are going to be lecturer, no matter the condition of service, to be lecturer. So they had good degrees, good grade, and when they came out, they actually went into lecturing. That is category 1. They have made up, no matter how much you pay them, they stayed. Category 2 are those who are just like category 1, good degrees, good everything, but say, I don't want to teach. No, sorry. They want to teach. They want to be lecturers. But when they came out, because of the poor payment lecturer, they went to the banking, into other sector to earn big money. But after about a few years there, they found out they don't belong there. They came back losing salary. Category 3 are those who ordinarily should not have been lecturer, third class, like PhD, what have you. They don't have any business being lecturer. But because there are now vacancies all over the place, 2, using Godfather and slot, are now lecturer. No interview. They just tell you, go to this place, you write a letter, what do you call it? Temporary appointment, they give you a job. No interview. If they are attending interview, they know what they would have been lecturer, before screen. Category 4 are the same thing as category 3. But who say, I'm going there to make money? They make up their mind, I'm going to make money. So they come, they deal with students, deal with sort of things, just to make money. These are the 4 categories. Today, the highest number are category 3 and 4. Because no more interview. Some of the very good ones say, I don't work in university, how much? I have a first class and go and earn 50,000. No poor reward. So these are the 4 categories. And with the way we are establishing university every day in this country, I saw Zaria now have 3 universities. One city. One university Delta had 2 universities. 3 universities, federal. Where do you have that? Zaria have one of the best universities in the country. And you start University of Education in Zaria again. Why not use that money to fund a faculty of education in ZBU Zaria? Why not simply fund it? And you have them coming up all over the place. Medical university. Who are these people going to teach in those universities? When the best brain are living. So that is it. So there's a critical issue. So what I said, that was one of the issues for whom we are saying Nigeria was abusing us. And since then and now, in the past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, the number of universities established by government, the last 2 governments, is more than all the universities established from 1960 to 2002. They're all over the villages everywhere, just put them there. Because you just want, when I was a senator, I brought university to my village. In those days, for you to start university, you must do a proper scrutiny to show where should it be cited. What can the lecturer there have accommodation? Is the environment, will you have access to water? You do all sorts of things. If you say, where can we go to get lecturer recruited from before you start a university? But today, what do you have? They just sit at National Assembly. All of them have a bill. Send it to NUC. By the law, NUC cannot say no. Even a state government, all they know is to say whether you have facilities to do them. And today, when they go to do that research, how the people who go arrive at that, we don't know. Let me also tell you this. When the Rashid, as the NUCES, was appointed, he came to ASU. He said, do 2 things for me. 1, help us review the guideline for establishing and accrediting university. 2, we will help us select people we trust, people can speak the truth, and recommend it to him for those who will go for accreditation, which we took time to do. The first one was not implemented. So people say it's too stringent. And you have to, it's a university, every tower. So they didn't implement it, which is to upgrade the criteria and what have you. And 2, we come out with a list of our members trusted from all over the country and sent to NUC. I was number 2 on that list. I remember invited one day to go for NUC accreditation. I was number 2. As the vice president of the union then. I had never been invited one day by NUC to go for accreditation. 2, they used some of our people then. They went. A lot of the return money given to them as bribe. They return it, I will send that money to NUC. I say it here because we have it with the accommodation. They came with money given to them
so that they can approve
this thing. And I will send it with a report and send to NUC. Nothing significant happened. Nothing significant happened. And those who send lists, none of them will be invited again. So that is the crisis we have as a nation.
Comrade,
yes.
Looking at this rather uncomfortable situation,
yes.
Do you think that the president's expectation in this circumstance is realizable?
It can be realized by doing one first. There's a need to do a need assessment of Nigerian university again. And this assessment should not only include just facilities, but also look at the staffing. People saying we're understaffed. Academic, that's why we're asking for EAA. Look at the staff requirement in university. Look at those who made the requirement. And then look at the infrastructure where we are. Then, for the first time, close your eye and upgrade those facilities. So that people do train and be good. If you're going to even take load or whatever, upgrade the universities so that they can answer your request. You can't have the university using stuff as possible and you wanted to give you scientific review.
I'm going to push you a little further.
Yes.
Do you think, I don't want to say the president,
yes.
Do you think that the Nigerian establishment
yes.
is not aware of this rot in the system?
They are fully aware.
So why do you think that they are reluctant to address what will bring solution to the need for national development?
You see, if they are not aware, their children will be in Nigerian universities today. The father, they don't put their children, they send them outside so that they are aware. But they don't want to do with it. You know why? So that whenever the children go abroad and come back, they'll be superior to the children of the other people. It's a class issue. The reason they don't want to do our own is so that when their children go abroad, you see them, and when they are abroad, you see them standing with their children doing this one. And you see them. If their children were in Nigeria, as it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they are all of them, Shaugari, all of them, they are children school in Nigeria. But today, no senator, even a governor child will be in Nigerian university. So they know the situation. So for this reason of class, my children attended Harvard, my children attended this, my children attended university in Benin Republic. For them, it's a pride. So any day they stop this pride, I mean, they spend huge Nigerian fund for those training. Not their personal fund, though, huge Nigerian fund. The CBS report in 2023 showed that for 8 months, Nigeria submitted £600 million to British University as tuition fee. 600 million, CBN report, 600 million pounds. Multiply 600 million by 150. It's trillions of naira, which is what we say, put in the Nigerian university. But Nigeria pays to those countries. Nigeria as a country is sustaining Ghana. Nigeria is sustaining Ghana universities. Because we don't have less than 5,000 to 10,000 Nigerian students in Ghana university. And we pay tuition fees to those countries in hard currency. But you don't want to put your own, upgrade their own. But go look at Ghana. How much do they put it up in university? Ghana doesn't put less than 20% of the budget on education. South Africa, Kenya, but we are putting 7%. Egypt, and we are putting 7%. We are not interested. And the reason is that if their children were in Nigerian universities, they will not be where they are today.
It appears to me to be a contradiction of sorts, that a system, an establishment that is aware of the inadequacies it has created within the university system will still turn around to charge the university system to solve problems. Isn't it a contradiction?
That is the crisis of contradiction. That is the crisis of contradiction. And you can be sure, I'm not saying it. The president was represented at that session. Did that comment really come from the president?
That was the president's speech, the vice chancellor.
Yes. I'm in the university, I know what they do. Who wrote the speech?
Well, but the president is, so as far as we know, the president says so.
But I agree. Okay, I agree with you fully.
And the president and his system have not come to refute it.
Okay,
and say, so no, we did not.
I agree with you. So this president that listen to radio, listen not just to his staff. For what I'm saying, he listened. He listened to news. Maybe he read newspaper. To stop these people who come to tell his sweet story and go to check the university. It will not cost Nigeria so much to do a proper assessment of all Nigerian public university and let it see the report. It can put people, not about these people who are clowns, put people who believe will come with the proper result to you. Let you assess them and see what you have. And I also said, if they have used our UTAS that we produce, he doesn't need to go. Let our UTAS have human resources and finance. Without UTAS, the president can say today, let me look at what happened in UI. With the UTAS, if they have accepted, you can say, let me see on your list, let me see what happened in UI. He will log in to the UTAS. I can watch it. You will see exactly what is happening in UI. In terms of staff recruitment, in terms of spending of the fund of the university, in terms of the structure, in terms of how budget has been spent, in terms of those who are gone on sabbatical leave, those who are on contract, those who are on sabbatical, you will see all of them by just saying today, let me watch UI. But they didn't accept it. I will present it to the senior president then. Present it to the vice president then. Present it to the Minister of Finance, Minister of Education. We presented it to them. And nobody faulted it. It was subject to a very serious test by NIDA. The first test we did with NIDA. The first test we did with NIDA, they said the program scored 97.3%. But failed. You know why? While that test was starting, we had problem with Patami in Futo, where he became a professor. He became a professor while he was a minister, which against all the rules. Well, and maybe that's what the reason they say he failed. Because if the new program was called 97.3%, and you say it failed. No anywhere in the world. And it was accepted by the beginning. We said, okay, let's test the three. They tested, and IPPIS came distant last. And you see, say we must use it. Until this present time, but we must also thank you for that. Maybe when he had things, okay, remove 30 institutions from IPPIS. And today the system have changed. Although they are still coming in, they are still holding us. Instead of removing us, they say we must still pass it through them. When you invest to pay salary and send it to a Canada General office before it can be paid. Send it to IPPIS before it can be paid. Does that make sense anyway? Do you have more qualified people in Ministry of Finance than in a university where you have a full bursary? So that is the crisis we are having. Interference by the bureaucrat in Nigerian university system. And this interference show, let's say and say, look, this year, University of Ibadan, your budget this year is 40 billion. We will release to you on quarterly basis. We will run your university. At the end of the year, come and account for it. You will run perfectly. They don't have to go to BPE to go up to build a toilet, to build a house. You don't have to go anywhere for conference. Just say your budget is 20. Next year you must account for it. If any VC or government council that you go send it to EFCC, let them go to jail. But let the university run its budget. As in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they were into the quarterly. And then you plan. Now university have excess money. Maybe from what do you call this? From external funding, from funding. So you must put it in central bank. You must put it in TSA. You're able to generate money from your project. You have funding from foundations. You have this. In those days, what they do? One of my VCs. Those money, the one they are not using, they invest it and get it and yield interest. But today, the money just lie there in TSA, no interest, nothing. You can't invest. Those days, university have investment from which they will generate money. But all those things are gone. So that over 10 years, we are going to invest maybe 50, 100 billion. What you get there will run your university perfectly, but they kill all of them by the bureaucrat. So let the university run on its own. Let the governing council, appointed by the visitor and the president, run the university. If there are errors, you deal with them. And that's why you have every 5 years, the additional penalty. So anyone who has mistreated, you deal with the person. But today, everybody must run. For visitor to recruit recently, you must go to the office of the head of service to get permission. Can you imagine? Vice Chancellor Council going to Vice Chancellor to head of service to get permission to recruit a lecturer. That is the problem. So when they allow universities to stay on their own, do their research, the government fund good amount of money on research, the system will change.
Comrade, let's go back a little bit to the tendency by the establishment not to regard and depend on local indigenous knowledge. Why is it that the civil servants, the bureaucrats, are reluctant to look in the simple language, look inward, depend on you people in the course of taking decisions? Have you put your fingers on it?
We have tried to analyze this, and what we have found out, and I'll use this word, is that many of us in this country, even leadership, have what we refer to as inferiority complex. If today, if you put a first degree holder from UK or from India or from this here, and you put a Nigerian first class with a master's degree here, and ask a Nigerian leader to choose, he will choose you. To do a project for you, he will choose the
UK or India.
Or India, yes. Because you believe once it's a foreigner, it's a better person than your person. That's called inferiority complex. But the opposite, not the opposite. When these will go outside, they excel. Even Nigerians go outside, they excel. But our leaders don't believe in them. I'll give you a quick example. There's a program, they call it WASCA. I was in it. We pick one African student from PhD funded by the German government. My own was based in Mali. I went 3 times. And for those 3 times, when I finish, a Nigerian will always come top in my course. I thought maybe is it that I'm biased? I have to ask some of my colleagues from other countries because people with the privilege of, and it was the same thing. So Nigerians to excel, but we don't believe in them. Let me give you a quick example. Some time ago, I was a student who graduated from UNN as the best graduating student. I know what they gave him, 10,000 naira. Was the award in a big
ceremony,
in a big ceremony, no, what do you call this? Check. This is a check,
yes.
Black check, 10,000. But that same year, a Nigerian did this. What do you call BB Nigeria? This Nigeria thing, this Nigeria film, BB Nigeria. And he got more than 100 million. Even state government gave him 50 million. But the best graduate student in UNN got 10,000. Which means we don't.
The premium we place on knowledge.
No, knowledge is not an issue. The state government can put 10 million to somebody who just went to naked and dance and do this one and romance. You give 10 million for coming to. But the student who passed through, one I just left UNILAG now. I thought I've not seen any government or any public officer talking about it. Has a CGPA of 5/5 in UNILAG. I've not had anybody say, I'm giving you 10 naira, but let me sponsor you, let me give you scholarship. I've not had it. Or let me give that to lecture. I've not had it. 5/5. But let's assume that it was BB Nigeria or one of these things. The whole country will run after that person. We don't value knowledge. We don't value education. We don't like looking inward.
Comrade, you have raised an issue and don't have even a question to follow up. And that is, something has gone wrong. Why is it that this society, our country, seems to value those things that don't worth much, and we look down on those things that have high value? What is wrong?
Well,
we're scientists, but for goodness sake,
yes, we have tried to look at it. What occurred to me is see this issue of inferiority complex. They believe that public officer, governor, what have you, they want to come and give somebody 10 million for acting film, for acting this thing. No, they believe that when he's there, he will get public. People will look at him. They will know him. They see him. Publicity, have big publicity. But that student who graduated with who will stay with? This anybody stand with them? Even if you stay with him, there's nothing in it. So it's your personality, self, not the country. So today, we have a country that values individual more than the country. You value this country. That's all today. And some of us, so everybody is involved. If somebody in communities appointed a minister, everybody will go there and dance. Go and rejoice. Go want to eat. They are appointed my people. Why are they doing that? Because they know he has made it. Go to make money. Go to steal money, not just make money, because the salary of a minister is nothing, is no more than 1 million a month. But you must make money. You are a legislator, everybody start dancing. You come in with 18 million a month. That is just it. That we value individual than people. You want to award contract, you are looking at your friend. Not at the contractor who is competent to do the job. You are looking at your friend, your brother, or your relation. If you have expertise or not, you prefer giving it and give to somebody you know have this thing that can do the job. Because we are looking at individual. Look at appointment of VCs today. You saw what happened in Nayu. You saw the way they play at in Abuja now. Why should the appointment of bachelor be an issue? In the 60s, 70s, do you know why bachelors are appointed in university? It's done because nobody looking at state, individual, what have you. But today, for you to appoint a vice chancellor is war. 2, we have ethnicized it, localized it. Every professor in the northern part of Nigeria must be a northerner. Every professor in the west must be a westerner. Every vice chancellor in the east must be an easterner. Every vice chancellor in Edo, which must be from Benin. A vice chancellor from a Delta, in University of Delta must be from Delta. The one in Rivers must be from Port Harcourt. And we have just, because you are looking at individuals, not the same. In those days, what's a VC? When I was a student, I didn't even know my VC. What is a VC? VC just one among equal. Just one professor among equal. Who cannot even take a decision without having a committee. But today, we have individualized it. You believe if your person is not called a VC, yes, we have made it. We want to award contract, you must consult them. You want to do employment, you must bring slot. So we have made it individualized. If you not see a VC in Nigeria, especially in a certain part of this country, going around with Prado, with police escort, with siren. When did that happen? That VC going with siren, Prado, the policemen, soldier, going around with a vice chancellor. Go and check all of them. Most of them are now. Where you see have some little decorum is in the north. Where you see the VC driving Corolla and what have you. But in the south, all of them are good Prado with everything. Siren. Just you out of the road. Inside campus. So, that is where we have found ourselves. We need to go back to the old ways and prioritize a country rather than individual.
There's need to put a cap on this conversation. But if you can hear, my voice is cracked out of emotion because as the education system hurts and the university system is undervalued, one, without being a soothsayer, can know what will happen in the future. Because when you have people under-remunerated, environment not properly taken care of, funds not made available for the system to run, those who produce are the handicapped children.
They're already there.
And these handicapped children
will
run the system and run as much as they know. And the more they know, run down the system.
Yes, you can do more, you can.
Help me out of this, my emotion. What can the university system do to help itself?
Thank you. Number 1, and I said it before, government should allow university to run on its own without interferences. Today, the National Assembly will send not less than 10 groups to say we are doing oversight in 1 year. You send this one, you send this one. They should allow university to run as indicated in their law. The law is very clear, it's autonomous. You submit a budget is approved, council implement. At the end of 5 years, the president sends a team to check whether the money has been well used. Not National Assembly, not all this ministry. Some group came from the ministry to my university say they want to look at how people who died in the year. The team of 3 came to say they want to look at, is that your business too? So they should allow university to run. 2, the government should prioritize education by meeting the minimum standard of 15 to 20% budget to education. 3, all appointments in Nigerian university today should be by interview, advertisement, interview, and the best selected. 3, we should allow TED fund to function as alternative source, an intervention fund to universities. And they should allow their university to award their contract, not based on zonal intervention, national intervention. If TETFund get 1 trillion in a year, remove 5% for running cost. The other 95% sit down and share it equally to all the universities, based on size. Like UI should not get the same thing as one small university that constitutive project university. Look at their DC and share the money. Let them use their money. Let the TETFund use that 5% to monitor it, whether they do the right thing and what have you. Not TETFund necessarily is implementing project. Share that money based on year of establishment and what have you. Because they are already there, you have category 1, university 2, 3. Share that category. That's what we did. The one we implemented, did assessment. We share it based on
those categories.
The UI will not get the same thing as Sumudike. Definitely, because when they say category, UI might have up to 50,000 students. More, you will have 20. So you can't put them together. Let the TETFund money go directly to the university for implementation by the council. And if there is a problem, that your monitoring team use that 5% on to ensure that those are referred to proper disciplinary process, not political disciplinary process like you have in Nigeria. So that is 2. 3. We should ensure that the children of Nigerian leaders, politicians, attend to show that they are committed to Nigeria. Let them, if they might not bring the one abroad, but your children should not go abroad. They should make a law. You already have some abroad, you will not bring their home. But there should be a rule that once you are a governor, you are a president, you are a minister, your children must attend our universities. If you are a minister of education, must attend our universities, not abroad. So that you start looking at the Nigerian university system. And 3, allow universities select their vice chancellor. Not based on ethnicity or regional DC, let them select their vice chancellor. And finally, I want to appeal to the government as a first sign that which you can do immediately, is that the 300 billion naira that was the 2023 budget, for which a kobo have not been released, and it's well known, let them release that money as need assessment fund immediately. 2, they should look at our agreement. We have met with the Yale committee and we seem to have reached an understanding. Let them upgrade the take-home pay of a professor and Nigerian lecturers, so that they should not compare it with other students. So that will be area people will be focusing on want to go to, not running to other area. A salary that can take them home, and let them do their research, do their community service, attend conferences, and what have you, and be comfortable relatively. So these are the things. And then, finally, on this issue, there's a bigger crisis coming. We are hearing of the NEL fund, Nigerian Education Loan Fund.
Yeah.
It's going, if we don't do something quickly, it's going to be the biggest problem in the next, from 5 years on. Now, where are students graduate? They don't have job. They do keke riding. They are relatively okay, although many now join banditry. Now, suppose these students now graduate from this system, and you are graduate, you are owing 5 million. How would that student look at the state? Which is what they are doing now. A student graduating now, no job, because they're not going to change much. And you're graduating, you are already owing
no job,
and there is no job.
So
and
they're a debtor.
So, and you are saying you must pay payment within 2 years. How will that student look at this? They will fight back. You now produce this dangerous thing into the system. And our recommendation is this. I hope the president look at it. We have been saying it over and over again. Let this loan be converted to grant. I checked this year budget. The budget for running NEL fund is 120 billion. Running cost, not to good to student. What you are giving to the student the past 2 years is up to 50 billion.
Well, comrade, my producer has given me a signal. And that's an important place to apply the break.
Thank you.
In the past almost 1 hour, I've been conversing with Comrade Manuel Osodeke. He's the national president of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities. And what ticked off this conversation this morning, the president's charge that universities should get into problem-solving research. And the bottom line here is, from whom much is expected much should be given. Comrade, thank you very much for coming to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Anwa Boze Njoko, good morning.